What's going on, everyone? This is Sherry, and you are tuned into She Said What She Said, the podcast where we interview badass women in the sports world and beyond. We're a few minutes late tonight, but that's because we have a full house. So we had a lot of microphone and audio and visual things to check, but that is fine because we are going to have a fantastic show talking about a fantastic sport, a great subject with not one, not two, but three guests. So we got the full house, and I also have a co-host. Yay! She does not have any high school choir shows to go watch tonight, so she is back. Let me bring in the other P in my pod, Miss Snacks.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad you could come tonight because I really think that this is a topic that I want you to be a part of.
Yay!
So, in case you haven't read the title, we are going to be talking to some of the women that are coaching girls high school flag football.
It's really exciting.
It's only in its second year.
I know, and it's grown so exponentially in just this second year. It's crazy.
Right. And it's not sanctioned yet in Illinois, but I was reading that they're trying to get it sanctioned by 2024, which is insane, because I don't remember what the number of schools they have to have, but to have it grow that much in 2 years.
Yeah. What's the difference between it being sanctioned and unsanctioned? There's no official IHSA state for it?
Yeah, it's not IHSA. And I'm sure our women coming in will know this a little bit better. They're probably they're saying it all wrong. But I believe it's like the Chicago Bears are the main sponsor of it. That's why it's the Chicago Bears girls high school state champions.
So it's a sponsored club, like intramurals.
That's what I'm getting. Yeah. And I believe that this was the first year that they actually made it as a state champion. Whereas I think it just started at CPS. Because I remember a little bit of it last year.
I think there were 20 schools or something like that last year that did it. It weren't very many at all.
No. And this year it's it was half of our timeline was coaching a team.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It was so exciting. And that was kind of the whole spiel of doing this is I was let's get some of these women that are coaching on a show and let's talk to them about coaching and how they got into it. I'm going to start bringing them in. And like I said, we got three of them, but I feel like between the two, we probably know a dozen women that were coaching. I mean, there were so many. So this was really just, a few that we grabbed. Maybe we'll grab some more. But let's get them started. We should start, I think, with the state champion.
Absolutely.
Let's bring in the GOAT of women.
Hi, everybody. Rachel Karos here, coach of Willowbrook, state champion Warriors. So,
fantastic.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
I love to be in the presence of greatness, and you are greatness. Okay, so Thomas is coming through with the stats. He said there were about 20-ish teams last season. This season, there were over 60 between CPS, the Western Suburb League, and Rockford. Damn.
Okay.
That's insane. Thank you, Thomas, for fact checking me. And Rachel, you guys are doing something really awesome this weekend too. Tell us about that.
This has been a sport since we started with a camp in June. The girls just can't get enough of it. Probably by our third week, they already started crying about it being over. And I'm like, we got time. But at some point, we just said we weren't ready for it to be over either. So we do have them. We're rostering 2 teams this upcoming weekend in Canton, Ohio. We'll get to play in the Hall of Fame complex over there. And a team that wins in your age group will get to go compete in the Pro Bowl. So there's a lot of good opportunity there. But our main reason is we've become a family. We love the sport, and we just need more. We just need more of it. So I'm really excited to be representing Illinois, and hopefully we show out and do our best.
I love it. And so here comes our fact checker as well. Mr. Thomas is technically intramural until it becomes an IHS sport. And for that, it'll need 80-something teams.
That's what I thought.
Happen next year. So after paper and all that nonsense, hopefully by 2024. That's crazy. Absolutely awesome. But let's not waste too much time with all our facts and silly stuff like that. But thank you, Thomas. Let's bring in our next lady, and they're both like, who's going to bring in next? Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi, I'm Lan Tran. I coach at Lane Tech High School here in Chicago. This was the first year of this program for Lane.
Awesome. And why are you in your car? Why don't you tell everyone why you're in your car right now?
I'm in my car right now because I have a game actually with Thomas, our fact checker, at 9 o'clock tonight in Lincoln Park.
Fantastic. And then let's bring in our final coach. And I'm not going to say she coaches the best school, but I mean, this is a pretty well known school.
Don't do that to me, Sherry. Don't do that to me.
Valerie Spann. I'm the coach over at Whitney High School, and this is our first year playing or having a team in the flag football league this year.
Fantastic. I'm not saying it's the best school. I'm just saying I had a Whitney Young coach on last week, and
Is that so? Which coach is this?
No, sorry, she wasn't a coach. She was a woman that went to Whitney Young, and so someone named Michelle Obama went there.
Right.
And Val, I want to make sure you mute your mic when you're not speaking, just because her headphones aren't charged, so she's getting a little background noise. But yeah, so we're getting a lot of people coming in, talking to these ladies. D-Sun, right? You love to see it. You love to see this. Val, since I have you on here, talk to me. What got you into doing the coaching?
So actually, last year I wanted to start a team, but for whatever reason, it did not work out. And then the opportunity presented itself again this year, and so I had to jump on it, and it was the best decision I could have ever made. I really enjoyed it. The girls enjoyed it. I like the fact that every week confidence was built as they got better and better, and so the growth, for the team was great. So I enjoyed it. And that's another reason, just to give the young ladies another opportunity, the confidence to know, I can play football. I tried it. I can play it. And this,
you play it very well, as anyone in Chicago knows. You play it very well.
Thank you. We had a great year. I wish we could have had the opportunity to meet Rachel and her team in the championship, but that was a great game. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yes. And G-Sun is saying, Valerie, you are one of the best.
Thank you.
Do you work at Whitney Young?
I've been at Whitney Young for almost 30 years.
Oh, okay.
30 years.
I see you, girl. All right, let's get in. I love it. And I love it too. I'm doing all the shuffling because when you're on here, you're in the hot seat. My love, how did you get into coaching?
I got into coaching because my former blondes versus brunettes teammate, who also is how I know Rachel, invited me to become the assistant coach at Lane Tech this year. I do not work for CPS.
And what would you say? So you've never coached anything or anything like that before, correct?
No, I've never coached before, but it was something that I was excited to hear about. I had not heard about this program. I did not hear about it last year. It's opportunities that we didn't have when we were that age. And I definitely was taught this sport as an adult. And I wanted to give back to all the girls that can participate in it now. And it's super exciting to be able to participate in it.
Absolutely. And then throwing in Rachel. So you work at the school, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What type of teacher are you?
So I teach health and PE, but I'm also, so part of my day is also spent I'm as a diversity and inclusion coordinator. So my actual role is getting students involved. So I kind of learned about flag football by being at an activities meeting for our West Suburban Conference. And as soon as I heard it, I lit up saying we need to do it. They can't make it optional. It's not going to be something that I can accept no on, that we got to do this. It's one of my favorite sports. It's also, just so inclusive. It's a safe space for a lot of different types of athletes. And I want to be able to bring that over to Willowbrook. I also have to give him a shout out just because I think it's so important to have male coaches who really believe in female athletics. And my co-head coach, Nick Hildreth, we both saw the importance of this and what it could do for our school. And not only just we're both varsity head coaches for other sports. And we thought not only will it be fun, but we're going to be good at this. We can do it. This is a year to try it. And, it's definitely worked out for the best. So just in my role of trying to get students involved, this opened it up for a whole new population of students who, some multi-sport athletes and some students who don't do anything and want to try something new. So, it's just, there's win-wins about the whole process. And just, I think it's only going to get bigger and more exciting as we go on. So.
Well, you just indirectly answered my question, because I definitely wanted to know if there were girls who only did flag football. I anticipate there are girls who do other sports who needed something to do in the fall. And as a track coach, I definitely would recommend to my girls that don't have a fall sport, go play flag football. But I mean, what would you say was the percentage of girls who didn't play any other sport and only did flag football?
That's a good question. I probably not numbers wise, but we decided to keep everybody this year. We want to grow the sport. We want it to be bigger. I wanted to find some spaces for some of the girls who weren't going to get to the playing time to get some sort of experience. They showed up to every practice, everything they could. A lot of our, like you said, there were some crossover athletes. We had some students who had volleyball and then they went to football at night. We had a lot of crossover there. Great sport for, I think, lacrosse kids, soccer, track, really anything. Softball. I'm the head softball coach, so I naturally pushed it towards my softball girls. But we probably had, out of our 37 girls, I think there were probably 15 that might have been single sport athletes that just wanted to try something new. But that's, again, I'm not positive, but what's really cool about the sport is for everybody, CPS had it for 1 year, but we're all starting from the same place. We're all starting with not tons of experience with this. Some girls may have played, with the boys growing up. But for a lot of them, this obviously would have probably thought this was even a possibility for them. So we're all starting from the same space. We're all learning together. So I feel like next year, we're probably going to even get more girls who maybe haven't done a sport in the past that want to try something new and be a part of something really special. The success of it, what the Bears have done, just the press it's gotten, I think naturally people are going to want to be a part of it. And I think you're going to see a lot of students who, I've tried volleyball. They all get to try volleyball and PE. They all get to try all that stuff and they see it and they're like, oh, that's not for me. But flag football really is a space for everybody. So I think we're going to see more students who maybe haven't tried something before jump into the flag football world.
I love that, when you're talking about the multi-sport athletes. So Snacks and I both ran, D1 track.
Nice.
Snacks over in Illinois. Where we actually ran against each other. But yeah, it was, for me growing up, I played soccer a ton, but in the state of Michigan, soccer and track are both spring sports. I knew I wanted to be a D1 athlete. So I just dropped down to track. But let me tell you, if I could have played flag football in the fall. I just would have had to piss my coach off because I know he would have been upset. But I'd have definitely done it. Oh, absolutely. It was really the opportunity. And it's also, they've done, and I know Snacks, you've talked about this in the past, they've done so much research on sports. Athletes that are multi-sport athletes do better in their primary sport as time goes on. You learn different movement patterns. You have less chance of injury. The first time I learned how to backpedal, I was like, wait, what? You want me to go where? This is weird. Yeah. So
we had backwards run built into my warm up, built into our warm up.
I mean,
ever since,
we
like,
did
high
that,
school.
but like we would do backwards run, but we wouldn't like backwards run and like cut. You know what I mean? We wouldn't like cut down and all this. You know.
And my college coach was kind of crazy. We had something in our warm-ups where we did have to run and cut at a 45-degree angle, like in the warm-up.
Huh. Nice. So I do want to also get to know you ladies a little bit more, not you snacks. But I'm going to start to put you ladies in here because I want to hear too about, it's not just about the sport evolving. It's also about you as coaches. And I want to hear from each one of you about your athletic backgrounds. Like, what sports you did growing up. Did you do anything, post high school? Were there opportunities you wish you had? So I'm going to start with you, Valerie.
I played basketball in college. I got a scholarship. I played for Xavier in Cincinnati. And so for a long time, basketball was my love. That was my love. My sister was playing flag football, invited me out to try out for flag football, and that's been my love. It's actually overtaken basketball. I love flag football. I still play currently, but for me, when I start coaching, that's going to lead me away from playing from playing football. So I think my years are kind of winding down from playing flag football because I'm coaching, I'm enjoying it, and it's going to take up so much of my time. So, and the fact that this is my way of my competitive outlet, because basketball, my mind is thinking I can do so much, but my body won't follow. So flag football is my competitive, that itch that I have still to be competitive that I participate in right now.
Fantastic. And I did not know that you played the basketball, and Thomas is being a brat. I did not know you played Xavier.
That was my my sport back in the day. I loved basketball. That got me through, some tough times, but flag football, if I'm enjoying as an adult, still playing, I think the girls, what led me to start coaching was that I think the girls would enjoy it as much as I, as I do as an adult. And then coaching is just as fun. So I'm hoping they're enjoying. I'm pretty sure they are.
Fantastic. Move myself up the chain here. Your athletic background, my dear.
I really didn't have a big athletic background. I played basketball when I was younger in grammar school. I played for maybe about a year or two before my parents pulled me out. They were very firm believers that those type of sports were not to be played by girls. So I played a little bit of pickup in high school, a little bit of pickup in college, and then post-college, I got recruited to play softball in an adult league, and from there, my friend Dino recruited me to play flag football and said, "Hey, if you can catch a softball, you should be able to catch a football." I'm like, I guess. And then all that's still history. I still play flag football till this day. I didn't start playing flag football until I was 30.
Has Dino played with everyone in flag?
I know he was definitely stalking the Facebook pages because I posted saying, "Hey, does anyone need a girl for softball?" And that's how I met Dino.
Nice. That man is constantly on the move. I played with him for a bit too. I mean, why not?
I know.
Everyone in the Chicago flag world, if you've ever played the North Side, you played with Dino. And now we throw in the GOAT, and I'm going to be able to call her the GOAT until one of y'all other ladies takes the state championship away from her. So, that's right.
What if I retire? Maybe then they can't take it. I just can't take it from them. Yeah. So athletic background. I grew up a 3-sport athlete. I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. I got a scholarship to Eastern Illinois for basketball. Ended up switching to softball. So I got to play both basketball and softball in college. Really kind of drove me through my career goals with, I wanted to be at the high school level for teaching because I wanted to have sports continue to be part of my life. I continued. I've been there for 16 years. I've coached volleyball, basketball, and softball. I did 3 sports for about 13 out of my 16 years. I gave up basketball a couple years ago, even though it was my first love, just because I'm the head softball coach. So the timing of it. And then this fall I did volleyball and flag football on top of each other and planned a wedding. So yay for me. So, and as far as my current athletic stuff, it's all flag football now. I did some softball leagues outside of college, but the softball leagues after you're in college are just, to me, not the same. So like really what I was craving, I think, after college is that team experience. And I think that's why I can't get away from flag football. I think it's just like no other. I always kind of was jealous of like the football boys and their relationships, like their family-like style totally carries over into the flag world. And, like I feel I'm a quarterback, so I feel like I can play for a while. I can Tom Brady this stuff and like just keep moving on because I don't have to move much. It's great. So, flag football right now is my sport of choice. So.
And when you said you're quarterback, are you the quarterback coach? How do you have that? Are you just the head coach? Are you a positional coach?
Oh, for flag,
your high school.
Well, I played quarterback at high school.
Right.
So I do most of the offensive work. And Coach Nick Hildreth is the defensive coach. So what's
apparently
awesome
your QB1 is what we're being told in the fan
that's
chat.
That's from
here.
My quarterback right now. That's Ramon. Hey, Ramon. So, but Coach Hildreth, what's really cool, not to like really give him a shout out, but he's like become my brother through all this, but he is also the head tackle football coach. So we both would go from volleyball and football and then hold night practices. And I think that's really awesome for the girls too, to say like a tackle football guy saying, these are good football players. Like, you know what I mean? So just the extra boost in confidence. And he's great. I've learned a lot from him. So.
And Lan, what are you coaching? I know you're an assistant coach. Are you positional coach? Are you offense? Are you defense? How are you doing that?
I started off coaching the defensive side of the ball, and then we just worked on Caroline coached the offense, and we just kind of teamed up and worked on it together.
Fantastic. And my last lady, Valerie, are you coaching offense primarily, defense?
I am primarily offense. That's my niche, is offense.
Are all of the staffs 2-person staffs?
I'm sorry.
I said, does everybody have a 2-person staff? Because I've heard the first 2 say they had 2 people.
Yeah.
An assistant coach, Mike, who has been my coach with flag football since I started playing. So it was only right for me to bring him on and coach my defense. So.
Fantastic.
I wonder if they're going to think about allowing coaching staff to expand moving forward.
Well, I would think that once it becomes a sanctioned sport, maybe. And are you guys all volunteer coaches? Is everyone volunteer right now?
I was hired as an official CPS employee, and then we had an additional volunteer coach, which was Blake. He was our coach for Blondes versus Brunettes as well.
Wait, our Blakey Blake?
Yes, our Blakey Blake.
Working with high school kids?
I know. It was very hard to keep him, kosher and be like, you can't say that. Can't call them names, Blake.
Yeah, you can't. Don't make these women cry. And Valerie, I have to, because I saw your face when I saw this one come up.
Thomas is silly. That's right, Thomas. Big old for life.
Thomas is an absolute terrorist. I actually, it's kind of cool in the sense of like, because it's an intramural sport, but you guys are actual paid coaches. That was one of the things that I was wondering about. Like, does it need to be an official IHSA to actually have the salaries? But it sounds like, no, you guys are actually making some pocket change doing this.
It varies right now, like because I'm coaching a sport right now on top of it. We volunteered this year, but it probably, but I think that varies, school to school with things, but definitely no lack of support. So it's something I told myself that I first of all, I love doing it. I'd always do it for free, but especially with being right now in a multiple sports setting, that wasn't as big of a push for me or a reason to do it. But I think, going forward, I think it's going to vary. Some schools have things in place where you have to prove that there's a need for it, like and whatnot before moving on. So, but I think. I can't remember the updated numbers, but it's going to be huge, and it's I think once it gets to the IHSA level, then they could talk about multiple levels as well. So that will increase coaching staffs and needs for all that. So yeah,
and I know you guys, everyone likes to do it for the love of the game, but like at the end of the day, I mean, Blake is volunteering, but the high school men's coaches, they get paid. You know what I mean? Yeah. They have multiple men on staffs. They have a full staff. They'll have a head coach, assistant coach. They'll have a positional coach. They'll have this coach. They'll have that coach. They'll have, a kicker coach. So, as women, I do think that is important for us to be able to say, yeah, this is my time. I have a skill. You guys are all good at it. So even if it is, I mean, let's be real. No one's like bringing home the bacon doing high school coaching. But you still deserve to you roll your eyes. You still deserve to have some compensation for your time and effort. Did you want to say anything more about the eye roll?
Because you just said you hit the nail right on the head. You're definitely not living off of your high school coaching stipend, especially not in CPS. So I get it.
Yeah. But it's still like the whole thing of your time is valuable. You know what I mean? And you should get some type of compensation for
sure.
For what you're doing, right? Because it is a skill. Coaching is a skill. And so I know, Rachel, you have said that, you have been coaching for years. Valerie, are you a basketball coach there too? What's your other coaching history?
I do coach JV basketball at Whitney. I've been doing that for the last probably 10 years. So, but my time, I believe, is winding down. I'm going to focus strictly on flag football.
Okay. And what would you say, is how did you learn? Like playing is one thing, coaching is a different skill set. For you, how did you kind of learn to transition from being a player into a coach?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I mean, over the years, I've learned. I've learned to be a little bit milder coaching. I'm getting older. I need to mellow out some, but because I'm so passionate about it, I can get a little bit crazy, but I'm passionate about it. I love it. And when you see young women growing and getting better at what they're doing, then, that fulfills me right there. Just the opportunity that exists for the young ladies. So much money out there for young ladies to go to school, and it was there. All this what we're doing now wasn't as popular back when I was around their age. I wish flag football was there. I would have played, but everything happens for a reason. That when flag football came into my life as an adult, and then where I am now, so I don't regret anything. Everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely. I love that. And maybe Thomas, my fact checker, can look into this, but I'm kind of curious too on when and how flag football started, like when it started getting, much more popular. Like, I'm thinking like, was it because I feel like it was before concussions were happening. But like just now, when you see so many kids, it's like, I wonder, like, is it because people don't want to tackle? Is it, it's a faster game, it moves quicker.
Well, it gives more people, it gives more kids an opportunity to participate, because kids that may be, especially on the male side, boys that may be a little too small or maybe a little too slow to play on the varsity football squad have a spot on a flag football team. And then it just offers a completely additional team opportunities for girls.
Right. And for me, like, I remember when they first were trying to make kind of that professional men's flag league, they did a little too early, but I remember seeing like Michael Vick throw, and it was like wild to see some of the highlights because it was moving so fast. And like when you're not worried about getting tackled and you have to like grab a flag, I mean, the skill level was, I would like to see it, not just in the high school, but to have it more and more on the level, because it's football, but it's completely different, right?
Yeah.
Have any of you ladies played tackle football at all?
I participated in our school. Not a proud moment. We didn't have powder puff at our high school, and we took it upon ourselves. We played a tackle game, which I regret. But that is it was probably not the smartest thing. But
well, now you don't have to elaborate.
I wouldn't have done it. So,
now you have to elaborate.
Right. Tell us more. Tell us everything.
We just had a off-site tackle game, which was just not smart. It just.
Did you have any pads on?
No. And that's I was just thinking teenage person, you're invincible. You've never gotten hurt. Here I am, D1 possible athlete, just risking something all to play the game, which means,
love that.
We all wanted a space in that, which again, is cool. Now, you talk about flag football to anybody who's out of high school, and they're like, oh, I played football powder puff. And, right. And now we're going to have a whole group of girls who get to say, I played football in high school. So, I think just going forward, that's going to be good. So that's my only experience with tackle. Wouldn't do it again. Wouldn't recommend it. And yes.
I mean, I recommend wearing pads when you play tackle. And I believe, and I haven't looked into this too much, but I believe there's a women's conference in NAIA that is giving scholarships
for flag.
Women for flag. Is that true?
So there's about 15. I think that number is rising. So there's about 15 NAIA schools right now. I don't believe any in Illinois, but I could be wrong. But it's really been, my understanding of it is really big on the East Coast, and now it's kind of just sweeping across the nation. So we're gonna get there, and I think it's such a I kind of think about Eastern had a D1 rugby team when I was there, and the types of athletes they would recruit. I feel like it's going to be the same way of until more schools get the flag football teams, they might be looking at other types of athletes that they just can find to fill those spots. But now as it's gaining popularity, they're going to, really have their pick of girls with experience and girls who know the game.
Yeah. I mean,
especially since those.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Especially since they're really pushing for it to become an Olympic sport in 2028. They debuted at the World Games this year in Birmingham, Alabama. I was there with a couple customers this year. It was really great to see, and a great show of support of all the people that came out to go see this new sport. And they're already playing it. I think it's the IFAF, International Federation of Flag Football. They already play annually, where different countries sends different teams to go play against each other for men and women.
Yeah, that's Nadia plays for the women's teams. I've had her on the show before, and I know that she played in the team down in Birmingham. I did not realize they were making I was not aware they were making a push for the Olympics, which is super
so
awesome.
I guess that's what the World Games is where they test the popularity of these sports and on whether or not they will be well adopted in the Olympics.
Okay.
I think they were shooting for 2028. Is that right, Lan?
Yep.
Okay.
Shooting for 2028.
Isn't that when aren't the Olympics back in the States in 2028?
I think so.
LA?
I think so, yeah.
I think LA, and I think
it is. It's in LA.
Yeah, because then in 32, it's in Brisbane, Australia, back in the land down under. And and one thing you guys were talking about too, with it being popular in the East Coast, like when I had Sid and Alan on a few weeks ago, the coaches of the Chicago Bliss team, they were saying how they played Atlanta in the championship, and Atlanta has had for about 10 years high school girls flag.
It's usually bigger in places that have field hockey and lacrosse, and field hockey and lacrosse are really big on the East Coast and in the Southeast. And so that's where a lot of the girls flag football stuff is starting early.
I think for it to get further adopted or more popular is starting with younger kids in, the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, those middle school students. And I think CPS is starting to build programs at some smaller elementary and middle schools so that they can prepare them to come in as freshmen to try out at these high schools that have these programs.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's just more opportunities, right? More sports to do, more money that you can get in college. My sister and I were randomly talking a little bit yesterday about not like obscure sports, but men's volleyball. Not every state has men's volleyball, and Colorado actually just sanctioned it 2 years ago, where she teaches. Michigan doesn't have it, because I was saying something. I was like, yeah, she's like, how often do you hear about men's volleyball? And I was like, well, I did a lot, because at Penn State, they have one of the best men's volleyball programs. Guess what? It's a sanctioned sport in the state of Pennsylvania. So it's like, oh, so weird when you offer these opportunities to these kids, they somehow become good at things, Yeah,
but another underrated part of the whole men's volleyball thing is those were some of the first programs to be cut for Title IX compliance.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, that wrestling, men's gymnastics is and some men's track. It's a double-edged sword, right? You want more inclusion, but and I know when they first
take football out of the equation. If they take football out of the equation, it won't be a problem.
And that was actually, so I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember which one, but that was like one of the first things they were talking about for Title IX was actually taking football out of the equation. And they did not do that, and I really think they should have.
Because it's like, I don't like sacrificing opportunities for men to have opportunities for women when there is an opportunity for everybody to coexist.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The opportunities for all is definitely, it's like, why would I take away? I don't want to take away your opportunity so I can have one. Why can't we both? There's enough money to go around. Let's be real. We shouldn't have to be counting. And I know, like, I was talking to my college coach, like he was saying, down at University of Arkansas, they have a ton of women that walk onto the track team because it helps the numbers. You know what I mean? You can have all these women walk on. They might run in 2 home meets a year, but it helps the numbers. And so they can keep, supporting men's sport. And so you're just running these weird games, and it's like, come on. Because then you're putting these women's track coaches and you have all these people that, you have your Olympians and your NCAA athletes and this, and then you have to, pay attention to walk-ons, but you don't have the coaching staff to like really support it. It's
right. It sucks.
It does. So I want to know too, what you ladies we know what Rachel's doing, but what you ladies are doing, and I'll start with you, Valerie, in this off season to start to prepare for next year's flag football season.
The night we lost that playoff game, I was preparing. I kind of knew, what I wanted to do. Recruiting within the school, more young ladies to come out, to play flag football. I've started that. My workouts, I did a summer workout where maybe twice a week I had young ladies come out, do some agility, some conditioning, just to introduce them to flag football. What else am I doing? And those are my main two, just to recruit, and then we're thinking about starting a league, a summer flag football league for high school teams. It's in the works. We have about another 10 teams interested in joining flag football. this upcoming season. So just a little bit more recruiting and just preseason workouts in the spring is what I'm doing to prepare.
And by recruiting, are you looking for other athletes, for multi-sport athletes, or are you looking for women that are just looking to get more involved?
More multi-sport athletes that, that for whatever reason didn't try out, didn't know what to expect, didn't know how serious, this would be this season. So probably more multi-sport athletes.
And next into the Lan, so your first year coaching, are you going to be doing it again next year?
Yes. I will just have to rearrange my travel and work schedule next year. We had our girls practicing at 6 a.m. 4 or 5 days a week, and all 21 of them showed up.
Ooh.
So it was great. I've moved a couple business trips so I can make sure that I was there for the games, but knowing that this is going on next year, I can plan ahead and not have to be on those trips next year. But all great things. We're talking about doing some spring and summer camps to get them conditioned and ready to go. I have some friends that work in the park district, so I'll be reaching out to some of those friends on maybe getting some volunteers from the women in our league to come out and coach and run clinics for younger girls so that they can get interested and prepared for tryouts as they're approaching their freshman year.
Mm-hmm. And what are you, doing kind of personally to help yourself become a better coach?
I am talking to a lot of my friends, looking up videos online and things like that. I was never a coach before, but I was a youth mentor for a long time. Okay. I train and coach new employees that come into the company and things like that. So I have experience mentoring people and then just getting feedback from a lot of people who have coached me.
Mm-hmm. And do they all say you're a joy to coach?
Some. I complain a lot, especially when it's hot. I hate the heat.
You're opposite of Snacks. Snacks doesn't do the cold.
Oh, yeah. I hate the cold.
I am that person it's 30, 40 degrees outside and I am out there playing with no sleeves on and shorts.
I am the person, if it's 30, 40 degrees outside, I'm calling the team to tell them I can't make it.
She ain't coming. she ain't coming to the game. If it's a 9 a.m. game where it's probably not going to be super competitive and it's chilly, she ain't there.
Not coming.
She ain't there.
Rain, snow, or shine, I'm out there.
No, the snow, I'm good.
I am a track girl through and through. You do not run it. You cannot sprint fast when it's cold. No. Spring sport. Spring and summer.
I know. And I mean, I asked the question, but Rachel, what else are you doing in the off season to make your team better?
I think, the night of, we've really seen, I'm also fortunate to be at a very talented tackle football school. So and working with the head coach, we're going to be able to get our girls involved in some of the stuff our boys get to do in the off season. So we're really excited for that. So to get some QB work and went out with some folks who come to our school already to get them involved. I think, as far as preseason workouts, I want my girls playing multiple sports. I want them doing other things. And we can regroup over the summer, but, always, probably offering some open gyms. As far as recruitment and whatnot, yes, it's great to get the multi-sport athletes, but whatever formula we had this year, I want that again. So whatever that happened this past year, would love to have obviously another season like this, but I think the best advertisement for a sport is the success you have in the season prior. So I'm hoping that builds into the next school season, see what we get at summer camps, get them involved in some tournaments over the summer camp, over the summer, but also just stay hungry and involved in football in some capacity. So also building our feeder program. We have a flag feeder program already. They've had a couple girls sprinkled in, but actually the night of our state championship, we had a restaurant host a fundraiser to get girls flag football teams started for our feeder. So more specifics to the girls stuff. So they had a watch party for the states and threw some money that way. So we got things happening to help continue the legacy of what our girls have already started. So our motto this year was the first but not the last. So and what I've loved about this group of girls, not to do a little brag about it, yes, the state championship was great, but even more importantly, they all understood this was bigger than them, and all of them said they wanted this to continue on and be strong for the years to come. So they help pave the way, and hopefully it gets stronger and stronger, regardless of wins, losses, but bigger and bigger, and provides opportunity for girls to compete and have the best time. So.
Forever the first, you will all forever. How many seniors did you have on your team?
We had about 16. So we do lose a lot, but they've, again, the family aspect of what we've been able to do, all the girls, whether they got playing time or not, have been really essential to our success this year. And, I think it's a group of girls who want to help the next group be successful, and whatever that looks like, it's only going to get harder and harder. And I'm so excited about the future of the sport. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know someone that's coming for you.
I know.
Valerie, how many seniors did you have this year?
Seniors that I lost, and most of them were, they all were on defense. So I'm hoping ladies who just for whatever reason didn't come out will just show up. We had to turn away. We can only field 20 girls, so we had to turn away some young ladies. So hopefully, they'll work on their game and just come back out and keep trying.
Mm-hmm. What's the format that they're playing? I meant to ask that earlier.
Sevens. So 7-on-7.
7-on-7.
Is it? Is there a line? Is there blocking?
No blocking. You get 4 blitzes in the game. Just as far as running goes, you can't run 5 yards before the first down or 5 yards before the goal line. So, so there's some rules. If you're not, you can rush after 3 seconds, but then you only get those 4 rushes. No contact. And I think a lot of rules this year were, kind of experimental, type things that they might change moving forward. But Lan, there wasn't really screen blocking either, right? We weren't
no screen blocking, and I think we played with a wider field than you guys did, right, Rachel?
Sometimes we didn't plan a full football field for most of our conference play. So, but yeah, as we got closer to you guys, it was a full field. So,
I guess since it's not officially sanctioned, things might move a little bit.
Yes, but overall, it was really well done. I think everybody had a really good experience in every league. So,
yeah.
How did go ahead. I was just about to say, how were they received by the boy football players? Did you all get a lot of support from the varsity teams at your respective high schools?
I see a head nodding.
Family all together. The administrators, the students, the parents definitely came out and supported. And the boys football team was very supportive of what we were trying to accomplish, and knowing that we were a new team and just wanting to assist in whatever it is that we needed. So very, very supportive.
I agree. Just whole community support. I think there was support from the beginning. I think when people were like, "Oh, they're good," is after our homecoming game when we got to have our first home game and really get out in front of a crowd. So I think from there on, there was lots of support. In women's sports, I often feel in a lot of ways, and where I'm fortunate to be at a school that doesn't think this way, but there's sometimes a pressure of having to be 4 times better to get the same recognition or support. And I think, and I think that's why we're successful is we have that support already in place. We could have been 0-9, I think, and we still would have gotten the support. It's still, cool to be a part of. But like, I think for female athletes in general, you feel like you have to be, there's a point where you're like, there's no question we have to get this done. We need this respect. We need this, like, but yeah, we're very fortunate to have the support of, and male athletes who see the value in female athletics. So all good things.
Fantastic. Lan, do you need to go to your game? Do you need to warm
No,
up?
I just double checked. We have all 3 women there, so it's not super important that I make it. I can stay on a little longer, but
I just want to make sure because for the love of the game.
Yeah, it's okay. I play a lot, so it's fine. We had a lot of support from the boys team. I know for the kickoff game, they bus students over to Amundsen High School so that they can watch us play.
Wow.
And then any home game, of course, the boys team came and supported us for everything.
I love it. I love it. I had a question for Valerie. So Valerie, you had mentioned that you were, I wasn't sure if you meant for the summer league or next year. We were talking about there's 10 schools that wanted to get in. Was that for like a scrimmage league or was that for an actual sport next year?
So I'm part of the CPS, the committee for girls flag football. It's about 6 of us, which we represent our conference. And we had a meeting tonight about there's an NAIA showcase on the 19th. And so we had to select, I think CPS was given 60 young ladies. I think Rockford and the western suburbs were given the additional, I think 60. And so 10 new teams for next season, 10 CPS schools that were showing interest in, forming a team for next season.
Wow.
Yeah. So right now we're at 48. So we had 2 teams drop out. So we're trying to get those 2 teams to come back. So hopefully in Chicago we'll be at about 60. Sorry, calling me.
That's okay.
So I think it's growing from each year. So you have 20, whatever it was last year, and then this year an additional, it was 48, 50, and then I'm hoping another 20 schools. So if there's anyone out there that wants to coach or know of a high school you're interested in coaching, please do so.
Oh, you're just gonna put me on the spot like that? Yes, it is something I am thinking about, seeing if I can fit it into, between summer track and actual track season, see if I have the time and the mental bandwidth, but I'm definitely thinking about it.
Yeah,
more women coaches.
We do.
Yes.
And Snacks is a phenomenal track coach. She wasn't just like a really good athlete. She wasn't just like a really good athlete that just goes out there and does whatever. She's got the certification. She goes to clinic. You know what I mean? She like eats, breathes, lives, long jump.
Information nerd for sure. So like I would definitely be that person. Oh, do you have any coaching clinics that I can go to? Because I want to go.
Right. And when I was like this, watching all the women, Rachel, I didn't know you. But watching you guys, the women, if I knew you, I would have been cheering for you too. But seeing all the women out there coaching, I was like, oh, Snacks would probably be good at this. And then when I do that, so we do have one woman that is about to leave us. So, my dear, good luck tonight. Any final words you would like to share? Any other goals that you have, visions for the future?
Well, I would envision this becoming an IHA sanctioned sport. I echo what Val says. Anyone that's looking to coach, reach out. We need them. Anyone that's looking to try to help with clinics, reach out. We need them too. I think it's important to have more women. It's great to have men support us. When they did the Jamboree, a lot of the girls from our team asked why there weren't more women leading these clinics. So I would like to see more of that next year.
I love it. And well, I already found you one woman. She's up at the top here. So I guess it's going to be a mad dash to see which school gets that good pedigree.
I mean, Sherry, you can do it too.
You know, honestly,
I don't know if y'all want to see Sherry with teenagers.
Yes, Sadia, square up.
You know, I would definitely consider coaching, although, you know, I'm kind of a busy person. But I would consider maybe, you know, volunteering a little bit. Do y'all have kicking? Is there any kicking in this?
Mm-hmm, there
punting.
is.
No kickoffs, but there's punting. Yeah.
Oh,
I can give you a good 40-yard punt just any day of the week. So let me just say, maybe I'll become a kicking coach. But all right, my love, thank you so much. You were the coordinator. You were the quarterback of this meeting. I just told her to find me a couple other women, and she went running with it. But enjoy your game tonight, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Bye, ladies.
Bye. And then there were 4. What was I saying? Oh, right. Yes. So are there field goals or is it just punting? Tell me more.
Just punting. Yeah, that was actually a rule that was a little bit up in the air, at least in our league for a while. You know, at one point we were like deferring punts, which I was like, no, CPS isn't doing that. We are not doing that. So, you know, and it's not uncommon in some flag leagues to like, especially 5s, to like defer instead of like a punt, but no kickoff. So the team who wins the toss can pick ball or defense, and then whoever has the ball gets the ball on the 20-yard line, and then they go from there. So and then 4th down, they can choose. They have to declare, and then you can punt from there.
So what does it mean to defer a punt? I don't think I've ever heard.
There's some leagues where you don't. Maybe I'm using the wrong word, where you don't actually physically punt. The other team just takes over on a different, like, there's some teams that do that, or some leagues that do that. Like, for instance, in what we're playing this weekend, you don't punt. The field's really short. You don't punt. So the other team will get to take over on the opposing 5-yard line. So, and then move forward. But yeah, so there's just some leagues that do it. I don't know why exactly. It's probably pace of the game or, depending on space, you know, like I said, we're doing a 50-yard field for 5s. But to me, no reason not to do it in 7s. It's another skill that gives another space for a girl who might just have a golden leg to show off their skills. Also, it's a challenge. There's reasons why if that girl kicks it backwards, that's good for the defense. So, you know, there's just more reasons to do it than not do it. So, yeah, there is punting, but like I said, no kickoffs.
Yeah, it's like one of those. I mean, I was a soccer player, obviously, and one of my I played travel soccer in middle school before I switched to track full time. But one of my specialties was corner kicks, and I was very good at arcing it to come right, you know, so someone else can go and head it. And I would actually take corner kicks on either side of the field. I'm a lefty, but I would do a lot of the times I would do both of them. So
is that uncommon for like somebody to be better on this side, or like
usually it's like, because usually like I was like left forward, so usually just, you know, or sometimes I played mid, but yeah, I would actually go to either side half the time just because I was good at it. So when Snacks and I would be at football practice, I Mary many times she would see me just punt the ball, just go ahead, and I have kicked a field goal in an NFL stadium too. So
that's awesome.
A lot of people are out there looking like Charlie Brown. But yeah, it's just like one of now I would need to though, like actually like break down the kicking aspect and figure out the technique and how to actually teach it. But I don't think, I think once you understand how to do it, maybe you can teach it. Maybe. Yeah. Just, you know, don't point your toe up at you. That's when the ball goes behind you.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I first learned that they kick it off the top of their foot. I'm like, what? There's no toes involved at all?
No. That's why it hurts when you kick, if you kick it straight into your toe.
And that's why I don't kick, not even for fun.
Honestly, like I might be a little better now, but I am more at, like, if I'm standing at like the 50-yard line and you're at like the 20 or the 10, and and I need to get the ball to you, I am going to kick it instead of throwing it. I am so much more accurate kicking it than I am. If I'm throwing it, it could go many ways. It might go right into your nuts. It might go over here. It might hit Thomas over there. Like, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. But if I kick it, it's most likely going to you.
Nice.
That's my years of soccer. So yeah, get a soccer player to do that.
How did you get? So you did soccer and track within the same season for you?
No, for high school, they're in the same season. So after 8th grade, I was like, look, I want to either be a D1 track sprinter or a D1 soccer player. My high school team was one of the best in the country. No offense, Morgan Park. But
we didn't do soccer, okay?
No, I meant for track. We would run it. We had one meet. We would race again. Their sprinters were a little. I never won a relay there. God damn it, snacks. But like, you know, we had a feeder. We had a feeder program that fed a lot of women every year into D1 schools. So it just made sense for me to do that. My cat knocked it over. So you know, as we kind of wrap up this you know, we've talked a little bit about your guys' plans for the next year, but I want to hear just kind of the final words and the future of where you see the sport going, and maybe like what your role is going to be in it.
I definitely see us becoming an IHSA sanctioned sport. I definitely see that. And I'm hoping to be just as involved as I am now, even more so. I'm hoping that everyone, if you get the opportunity, go check out a couple of flag football games. They're very exciting. I hosted a couple of conference games, you know, over at Whitney Young, and I was out there all day, and I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed. These girls are putting in work. They're working hard, and if you get an opportunity, go out and support them girls. Rachel, I watch. I wouldn't say I watched games. Well, I did. I watched a couple of games. You guys were great. You had a great season, fast, and congrats to you on a great season. And I hopefully we'll see you next year.
Hopefully
at Hallis Hall.
Yeah. Well, same to you. As I watched a lot of CPS games. Whenever I lived on YouTube this past fall, just watching everybody, because you know you're starting new, so you don't really know how good you are yet. Like, because you're like, where are we at? You know. So, but I learned a lot from watching all this schools in CPS, because they're a little bit of time under their belt, but also I think access to a lot of coaches who get to play in flag leagues in the city. You know, I live in the city, so I get to enjoy all that. But you know, you learn just so much from just watching that. Like Val said, like I didn't want to go home on the bus after our games. I just wanted to stay and watch. Or on Sundays when I play, like I don't leave after my game. I'm just there all day, just watching what I think is one of the best sports. So yeah,
I love it. Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to get out here. And I know you got Snacks ready to coach. You got me thinking, well, maybe I could just teach a little bit of this and that. But as Snacks said, I don't know if you want me around high schoolers. But I really appreciate you ladies so much coming on. I know I didn't make it to any Rachel just has this whole, all of her people are here.
All my girls are on.
I love it. And, much success. I wish you much success this upcoming weekend. And I hope you guys, go all the way for next year or, this year, but next year, I'm excited to maybe see a little CPS magic. Maybe, I mean, look, you could be back to back because you're awesome, but maybe Valerie will steal one. Maybe Lan will steal one. Like, I love it. I love the excitement of it. And I also love how all you coaches seem to like really encourage each other and, support each other. And I love to see that, camaraderie in the sport. And so it's fun to see a powerhouse, but it's also fun to see a bunch of powerhouses coming through.
Now we can start talking about coaching sororities. You always hear about this coaching fraternity. And we're glad to join the coaching fraternity. Well, now we about to have some coaching sororities.
Right. I love it. And I do think that, maybe you women can, get together, have a little powwows in the off season, ladies only. And really, really support each other and grow this sport. And like you said, it's nice to have the support of men, right? But these women need to see women as their coaches, as their head coach, as their assistant coach, as their volunteer coach. I mean, we should be the dominant ones coaching. The men should be the ones in a supporting role wherever possible. Right. Because it's about us. It's a new sport. Let's just make it our own.
Yeah. I think as it grows, and not to launch too much, but sorry.
Hold on. I have you on mute.
Girls flag. So thank you all very much for that.
Hold on. Can you repeat what you said? I had you on mute.
Thank you all for bringing more exposure to girls flag football. And there's some young ladies who doubted, her skill and may just come out and that's her niche. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Happy to do it for sure.
Absolutely. All right, ladies. Well, I meant to put myself in here. I can't tell. Rachel and Valerie, I appreciate you guys so much. I will be sure to thank you again in our little group chat. And I think our little group chat actually might become the new coaching sorority. Maybe we'll put some other people in that little chat, get it going. Snacks, I'll throw you in there. But ladies, thank you so much and have a great night to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was great.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, let me flip this.
That was so cool.
I love it.
Yes, I'm so digging all of these new opportunities for girls and for women to get into these sports leadership roles. It's so dope.
Yeah, it's I loved it how they said they were saying the jamboree. I think it was Lan was saying why aren't there more women coaching us? And damn fucking straight, especially because there's no tackle in this. Women are,
and I wouldn't be surprised if there were women that were out there well, I want to do this, but I don't have the level of experience or maybe the knowledge base of a guy coach. No, girl, get out there. Everybody's learning together.
Yeah. And it's flag is tackle football is not flag football.
It's very different. Especially sevens, no contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Super different.
It's super you can't be a DB coach on a tackle team and coach the DBs the same way on a flag team. It's almost a completely different sport. So that coach is going to have their girls looking stupid and getting flagged for everything if they don't know how to coach that technique correctly.
Right. So I am enthused. I'm encouraged from the year 1 to year 2 growth.
Right.
I did not expect participation numbers to damn near triple the way that they did. And then to hear that there are already 10 teams that are okay, we want in next year. And that's just 10 in CPS. We haven't even started talking about the rest of the state. Let's see if we can get it going further south. In the Kankakee area.
Well, down. I wonder if St. Louis has it all because down on the this side of St. Louis,
East St. Louis and Belleville, all of those.
Yeah. There's a ton. We're just so focused on this part of the state. It's crazy. So what I'm going to do, Snacks, is I'm going to pimp you out for coaching.
Look, we got to see how it's going to fit because track takes up a lot of time. It
does, but that's true. And it is starting to sound like they want this to be in the summer workouts as well.
Yeah. But, and I'm sorry, but you can't have my girls for preseason workouts in the spring if I'm coaching track. No, absolutely not. Sorry. I want to support the mission, but no. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing to consider, how their off seasons are going to be structured. Because if there's anything anybody wants me to do with flag football between January and August, it's gonna be a no.
Right.
Well, maybe in the summer, but maybe not because summer track
it has to be not from 3 to 3 to 7.
Well, no, in the summer it has to be because we have to practice because we're working with small children. We have to practice when their parents get off work and can bring them to practice. So we practice from like 5:30 to 8.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to think about, but I mean,
It's definitely, but it's I think it's worth considering. It's worth considering for sure.
And especially too, you know, when they're talking about adding 10 more, you know, programs, like certain programs might be fine with having, you know, this person is their head coach and then this person is their assistant, and the assistant maybe not as being, you know, you can't necessarily find 20 coaches available that are going to be able to do the whole year, right? I mean, you're going to start
the ones that don't work inside of a school, and I don't have any plans to go back into the classroom anytime soon. So
right. Yeah, and that's something like someone like for me that works a standard corporate job is like, well, practice can't be at 3 to 5 because I'm in meetings. But it's interesting. I mean, I guess now how they're saying like practices were early, practices were late. I guess it's because it's not in the official sport.
Yeah, a lot of schools give the coaches leeway to set their own schedules.
I didn't know that.
But I am not a morning person, so I have never once volunteered to have practice at the ass crack of dawn because I might not even make it. So.
Right? I'd be like, yo, tell me how that went today.
So did you all have practice this morning? Oh, I was supposed to be there. Didn't know that.
Hope you guys had fun. But I love it. I love it so much. Now I'm like, oh man, I didn't go to any games this year. Now I feel bad. Like I want to go watch these young girls.
I saw a couple of, you know, a couple of schools put their games on YouTube, and I was able to watch them on YouTube. And then I saw some of the state championship at Hallis Hall. And it looked really, really cool. Like these girls were so passionate and just so talented at, you know, what they were doing. And for this being as new of a sport as it is, the skill level was really, really high, which could probably be attributed to the many multi-sport athletes on the team, especially if there were basketball girls, because the basketball girls just seem to take to flag football.
They do,
so much better than girls with other athletic backgrounds.
Yeah. And it just, because you're moving, you're catching, hand-eye coordination on the go, moving lateral, moving this, that, diagonal, jumping, doing many things at once, which sprinters like myself that just ran, I was like, oh, so much to do.
Right. It's like, wait, y'all want me to just veer off to the left? No, that's not. Oh, I have to move my arms out of running form to do something else? No, that's not what my hands do.
I still run. I don't understand. And then I need to look the ball in while I'm running. But where do I know? How I know we're going to run into you?
Right.
While someone else is coming at me, like Jesus. That's
like
hard.
The route part was easy for me because I was a hurdler and a jumper. And so you have to have footwork, you have to be technique sound to do those type of things. But running and catching at the same time, I could stand still and catch all day, but running and catching at the same time,
especially when someone is coming and you can feel like a defender or someone in the corner of your eye coming near you.
That never really bothered me because I'm like, okay, if you hit me, hit me. You know, I've had a lot of catastrophic collisions. Because I am just a little reckless. But it was the whole concept of, oh, I need to be running as fast as I possibly can, but somehow slow down enough to catch this ball. That was the biggest thing.
It's a lot, and it's definitely a different skill. Which, look, if you and I had started that in middle school, we would have been.
I played football. I played with the boys when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And then just did, you know, we would play in the neighborhood and do stuff like that. But it's still not the same as like organized and you have to run run these 10 yards and then do this. Like, wait. How many steps is 10 yards? Like, if you tell me how many steps I can do it. But to just say run 10 yards, I need to know that's like 3 steps for me.
Yeah. I did have, switching gears, and I was actually going to text this to you, and I might have mentioned to you before, I know you're more of a reader, but I did
Yes.
just finish a podcast that I feel like you have to listen to that my sister recommended. It's
What was it
called
about?
The Legacy of Speed. And it is about the backgrounds of the Mexico City Olympics with the fist in the air. Mm-hmm.
Did it
John
feature
Carlos and Tommy. Mm-hmm.
Did it feature anything that we haven't already seen before? Because I feel like I've seen every documentary and I've read 2 books about the Mexico Olympics.
So for me, I had like read a bunch of articles, but there was a lot of like, I wasn't aware of how San Jose State kind of turned into a powerhouse for track. How that coach, like he was kind of the originator of the kind of relax when you run, like that part. So that part was really interesting to me in the sense that it gave me a lot of that background of how all these sprinters ended up at that school. So for me, it was kind of like not necessarily what happened in Mexico City and what happened afterwards. That I feel like I knew a ton about, right? But it was kind of that background of how we got to that point. Some of the
have it like playing in the background while I'm reading.
Honestly, yeah, and it was interesting too about how the whole thing of like so when you protest, you can either they did these votes on, do we boycott, do we just go through, do we voice ourselves? And then they had, I'm blanking on the name, the woman that won the 100 in the Mexico City Olympics. She ran at Tennessee State. She had won the prior Olympics too.
Don't give me the line, because I know who you're talking about, and the name is right there on the tip of my I'm about to Google it because now I need to know. Yeah,
Google it. So at the end, it's kind of a post thing of the, and this is the part I just listened to the other day. The author, the host of the podcast, had a kind of a talking thing at the World Championships with the auto bowling, and this woman.
Wyoming Attias.
There we go. And she was saying how when they were doing all these discussions of what they were going to do to protest, the women weren't involved in it.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And just kind of listening to her and saying like kind of some of the things that she did, as far as like wearing the black, I think she did the black socks and our black shorts, but like no one really noticed. I mean, it was just very interesting to hear like all this stuff about how the men were so ostracized. And
another underrated part of it. Another underrated part of it was how like the guy who was on the podium with them.
Yes.
He kind of got a lot of shit from when he got back home.
Yeah, Peter, right?
I just remember he was a white guy, and I think he was from like
Australia. So he had the Australian 200-meter record for like 2 decades, and he was still like banned from participating because he wore that pin. And he was the pallbearer at the funerals too. So yeah, he definitely it was interesting too. And I had read a lot about him, which I thought was, I want to say Peter Norman.
Yeah, they did a documentary on him.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm a documentary head too.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that I didn't get a chance to watch, and I don't know where I saw it to be able to pick it back up again.
Okay. Yeah. But it was a well done podcast. I had listened to it when I was running, and I just finished kind of the post interview the other day on one of my runs, because it's like one of those things where like, I only have 35 minutes left, like gotta do a short run. But when I was doing
is it only that one episode?
No, it's like 7 episodes, I think, total, 6 or 7. It's not a ton. But yeah, I would say for the intro stuff of learning about the history of San Jose State, some of those things, kind of why those men ended up there, how that school came into a powerhouse. It really, and one of the discus throwers who kind of quit the team and turned into one of the leading voices of athletes having social justice. It was interesting. I learned a lot from it, and so I know you like to learn.
Yes,
Oh.
I do. And now that I'm still struggling to adjust to the time change, I'm usually up at the ass crack of dawn with nothing to do because I don't need to be awake that early.
You tell that to my dog. Thanks.
And
I was like, Nala, no, we're not getting up. Like, yeah, when
my body is telling me it's time to go to bed right now, and it is 9:30.
It's 9:30. Well,
Yeah.
I will let you go to bed.
I'm gonna go eat first. You know me. I was sitting here munching on gummy bears.
I saw it. Now, I had to eat before this, or else I would have just stomach growling, pass out, whatever. But my dear,
it was a pleasure as always.
It was a pleasure. And on that note,
this has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
bye.
Bye.